Welcome to the video arm wrestling fans. Just finished talking with Todd Hutchings, the giant slayer from North America. We discussed a few interesting topics like who is a professional arm wrestler, what is the best method to train for arm wrestling, and have we found that method yet? What pisses Todd Hutchings off about arm wrestling rankings, and his upcoming match against Yordan Tsonev on February 12th. Please subscribe to Todd Hutchings' YouTube channel. Link will be in the description and enjoy this short interview. I've briefly explained the topics that we are going to cover in this video today. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. And yourself?
I'm doing fine. So let's start with the topics. I actually heard you say a couple of really interesting things that I liked a lot, and I want to discuss in this video. But since it is a news channel, let's first discuss the current topics first. Tell us something about your match against Yordan Tsonev on February 12th.
He's from Bulgaria. He took second place to Turkey guy in the Worlds. I have you got to go to my YouTube channel. I got a Yordan Tsonev analysis video.
Playlist, yeah.
He does very well in a technique I tell people to never do. Never get palm up laying on your arm to try to dig your arm out of there. And that boy does that, and he digs his arm out of there a lot, and he wins a lot. So you will not see me sitting on his arm like that. I think, people probably feel, you get somebody palm up like that, you feel comfortable because you think you're winning. It's kind of like what the King's move does. It's almost like a inside King's move, but I won't be there. If I see myself laying on his arm, I'll pull the match back up.
Okay. So one question about your YouTube, Todd, since you mentioned that, why excellence over victory? Like, can victory be achieved without excellence?
Victory can be achieved without excellence, and that's what leads to all these how to cheat the ref, how to cheat the straps, how to get by, it's that short-term focus on just trying to win that tournament. Anybody who's been in arm wrestling more than 2 years, or more than 3 or 4 years, is probably going to be in arm wrestling 15 or more years. And if all you're doing is searching how to win as opposed to how to be excellent, basically arm wrestling divides up into the litigators and the gladiators. The litigators want to complain about the pad size, the width of the strap, how you apply the strap, which side of the table, if the buckle matters, for crying out loud. This is all victory derived stuff, very short-term thinking. If you are wanting to be excellent, you will find victory. You will work on force, power, capacity, in your strategy. But if all you're searching for is victory, you'll eventually end up frustrated and disappointed. So it's a long-term versus short-term philosophy. Artem Taranenko's got it all wrong. Just so do not buy his book. Buying his book would be a bad idea, except for the chapter on me. So buy his book, take out my chapter, and send the rest of that garbage back to Artem. See if you can't get like a 50% refund.
So I think you have done a lot of research yourself about the strap issue. I saw your video where you analyzed all of the WL super matches, whether the side of the strap with the buckle is on the hand matters or not. And I think most of the people, when they say that the strap matters, almost all of them are top rollers. I've rarely heard any hook or inside puller arm wrestlers say that the buckle side matters. So can it be top roller versus hook style arm wrestler? Can the difference be?
No, because most matches, it's very rare to see a strap match go into a hook. Because in the straps make almost all of us top rollers, because if you get it tight, it's really hard to get that wrist, so your hooks end up. But listen, if the strap or the buckle mattered, right? I mean, if it was a 5 or a 10% effect, we would have changed the rules a lot. We already changed the rules in the equipment. This is a centuries old. This sport is thousands of years old, and we are constantly changing the equipment, the straps, the rules, the formats. If there was actually a bias due to the strap or the buckle or the side of the table, we would have addressed it a long time ago. So, but I believed it. I believed the buckle mattered because I came up like everybody else did. It was only when it was an unrelated discussion, and I said, well, yeah, we wouldn't let that go. I think it was the fairer strap or the more fairer strap or the fairest strap of them all. I can't remember what the conversation was, but it was something like that. And I go, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense that these things that have been around, for decades in a sport that's been around for thousands of years could actually have a measurable effect. But I didn't know. So that was when when I had that first interview with Artem. I go, let's go find out. Let's see if we can. And Artem was an ardent believer that it mattered. He even said, you know what? It matters in my matches. This is Artem speaking. So Artem analyzed his matches, and it turns out he won like 1 or 2 more matches with the buckle than he did without out of his sample set. Not statistically significant, because a coin toss out of 10 tosses, you can end up with like 7 heads and it'd be completely believable. But that was when Artem started going, oh, maybe this bald old man knows something. The answer is the bald old man knows a lot of shit. You just got to listen to him. So.
You did a formula. I don't remember what the name of the formula was, that to decide whether it matters or not. Like if it comes above a certain number, I was thinking, is Todd actually thinking, or is he expecting us that we can understand what you're telling? That went over my head.
I was expecting, there's a few mathematicians and other engineers and physicists in arm wrestling. What I was expecting was if anybody had an issue with it, they could Google it. I mean, I didn't invent the t-test or that, but it's out there, and and just a cursory, or you know what, go to YouTube, and there's some really sexy videos on it that explains where it started and how it works and everything else like that. So no, it was not a mathematical course. It was just, first it started out, what I wanted to do was flip a bunch of coins, but my interest in the whole video dissipated before I did that. But so it was go out. There's enough YouTube videos on statistics in that particular test. I figured anybody who had any interest in it at all could just Google it or YouTube it.
I was thinking, like, Todd, just please tell us the number, whether it passed the test or not.
I did. I put a chart up, and when I revamped it, there's a chart in there that shows you how many matches, how biased it can be and still be statistically insignificant.
Right. And coming back to your match against Yordan Tsonev, when you were to face Corey West, a day prior to that, I asked you, are you going to beat Corey West? And you said yes. Can Corey West beat Todd Hutchings tomorrow?
No.
And you were not lying. So are you going to beat Yordan Tsonev?
Yes.
In a hook?
Whitney Houston believes the children are the future. My future is beating the hell out of the children. So I'm going to beat up a lot of young people this year. I'm just going to stack them up, spink them on the bottom, and send them home.
And before we start about training, has your cat returned your training journal yet?
No. I think the cats have took my journal and busted it into pieces. I'm getting scraps of it here and there. I don't know what happened, but it's all right. Sometimes when you lose your journal, you just start a new one. And to be honest, it actually worked out well, because I'm going to change the JM presses and the hammer curls to wobbly weights, which is something I used to do but haven't done in a while. So, and let's see what else. It forced me to step my deadlift weights up more than what I think I was doing. So all in all, it was fortuitous. I wish I still had it, because I got a stack of them. I've been keeping records since 2005. Now I got a big hole where 2020, 2021 is, but that's all right.
So a request to all of you arm wrestling fans: 1, for professional arm wrestling training; number 2, for cat ASMR videos; and number 3, for watching the funniest and strongest arm wrestler do his training for about 15-20 minutes almost every day. Please subscribe to Todd Hutchings YouTube channel. So
Thank
Todd,
you.
Once you mentioned that you are a professional arm wrestler, you mentioned that on Uncle John's show, and you said that you get paid to arm wrestle. That is why you're a professional arm wrestler. And in my mind, that definition, until you said it, was very unclear, because before that, almost all of the arm wrestling community was saying that you are a professional arm wrestler only if you can make a living of arm wrestling. So what is your definition of a professional arm wrestler?
Well, that's probably still true. If you can make a living off arm wrestling, you're a professional arm wrestler. What I was doing is probably what a lot of people, I wanted super matches, but I was really worried about my record or my legacy or whether I was placed in the correct place in the rankings. But when the WAL went on hiatus, then there's no progression anymore. And I wasn't arm wrestling. And I go, well, I'm still getting older. And if there's not a league, I got to, in order to stay relevant. So I said, yeah, I'll take any match. I drew up a price list and a starting price list, and I send it out to folks. And, because I probably get 3 or 4 requests for a super match every month. A lot of them are, hey, do you want a super match? I go, sure. What is it? He goes, well, you come to my event, put up your own money, and we'll pay-per-view it, and I won't share that money with you. And I go, no. I replied back. I go, if you want a super match, an official super match, you come to my house, and for about $1,200, we can have a super match. If you don't want a super match and just practice, you can come to my house and you can stay all day. We'll train all day. That's free. If I have to drive, up to 8 hours, all right, we're talking like $3,600. If I have to get on an airplane, it's like $4,600. And if I have to leave the country, get a visa or carry my passport, it's more than $4,600. Okay. But it's a starting point. And at that point, then they go, okay, I don't have that money. And a couple of promoters said, I can't meet that. I don't have that kind of money. And they said, would you take less? And I said, maybe, but it'll be a last minute thing. But right now I'll turn it down. And to be honest, 2 of the promoters came back. They said, I found the sponsors. They found tougher opponents now. But 2 of my matches this year were from promoters who originally rejected my opening offer.
So the problem that I had with the first definition of a professional arm wrestling being someone who can make a living of arm wrestling, about 1.5 years ago, Ryan SP was doing a live stream with Jeff Frank, and they were discussing that topic. And in that live stream, I commented that about 2 years from now, I can make a living from arm wrestling, which is true right now. Right now in India, I can make a living of arm wrestling from YouTube without even putting my elbow on the arm wrestling pad. So how can you call me a professional arm wrestler? I'm still making.
I would call you a professional content creator. I don't think I'd call you a professional arm wrestler.
That's where
I would give you 10,000 to 1 odds against me in shutout stakes in an arm wrestling competition. But no, for me to call myself a professional arm wrestler in America, it's more of a state of mind thing. It's when I stopped picking and choosing who I wanted to arm wrestle and just said, when a promoter says, you want a super match? I go, here's my price. I don't care who you put in front of me. But I will not pull John Brzezinski for $3,600. I mean, if you're going to make $20,000 off the match, I want a chunk of that. So, within reason, but those are my opening prices. You come to my house for $1,200. Now, if you're a younger person or local or something like that, I'll cut that way down if you want an official super match, if we're going to put up refs and stuff like that. But most people just come for free. But yeah, I will not pull, top ranked super elite people for those base level prices. But a lot of times promoters they're working on a tournament 4 or 5 months in advance, and they're just trying to get rough budgetary numbers. And what I do in the old days was, well, tell me who you want me to pull and let me think about it. I got to worry about my training and blah, blah, blah. Now the promoters call me and I go, would you like a super match? I go, where is it? I put it on MapQuest. Okay, I can drive there in less than 8 hours. $3,600. That's my budgetary number. Tell me who it is later. Because a lot of times they'll switch the opponent 4 or 5 times. And I don't want to get into renegotiating and all like that. So it's a state of mind thing for my own personal. It's more of an excellence over victory thing. Yes, I will arm wrestle. This is my price list.
Yeah. At that time, my definition that I was thinking was that you cannot call yourself a professional arm wrestler if you have to hustle on YouTube for 5, 6, 10 hours a day. Like we are talking about Ryan Bowen at that time. Like Ryan Bowen has to upload content 10, 12 hours. And my definition at that time was, if you want to call yourself a professional arm wrestler, your match fees, your contracts, whether it be one single match contract or a 3, 4, 5 year, 1 year contract, and your endorsements, brand deals. If these are able to cover your expenses, you are able to make a living off these things, then maybe you are an arm wrestler. But with that logic, almost nobody is a professional arm wrestler in the arm wrestling world. That is why your
Almost
answer was I found it the most perfect answer. If somebody is paying you money for arm wrestling, then you're a professional arm wrestler.
Yeah. Now, see, we got something similar in America. We got a lot of farmers, but we got a lot of farmers who have full-time jobs. So they go in, they work for a big corporation, they make their salary, get their insurance, get all the healthcare and stuff done. Then they come home and farm on the side. We still call them farmers, even though they're not fully supporting their life and family by farming. Farming's a pretty expensive endeavor here. It might even be worse than arm wrestling. I don't know. or playing wedding music. I don't know. We got a lot of hobbies in America that cost a lot of money. So.
Yeah, farming is the same here. So second really interesting topic that you once mentioned is that the training methods. You were saying that there cannot be multiple ways to reach to the top. I'm talking about training methods, preferably mostly the gym training methods to reach the top, and also table time. You said one has to be faster than other, and we see that in other sports. Like if you're powerlifting, you have to do good mornings and other exercises. There is almost a fixed routine that you have to do these exercises. But when arm wrestling, even the arm wrestling trainers who are giving online trainings and really high level elite arm wrestlers are just replying that you should try and figure out what works for you. So do you think that, yeah.
I mean, that's where our sport is. Our sport it hasn't evolved enough to where we found that one key aspect. When you look at other sports, whether it's powerlifting or football or baseball or something like that, those athletic positions have all evolved into like one type of genetic makeup. When you start stacking up baseball pitchers, they're all about the same height within a small variation. They're all within the same weight within a small variation. It's very specialized, and the sport through evolution found the most efficient way to get that particular task done. Arm wrestling will get there if we ever get like real money in it or real dedication. But like right now, if you look at, let's just grab the super heavyweights because people are more familiar with that. You grab the top 10 super heavyweights in the world, there's a big genetic there's tall, skinny guys, there's short, stocky guys, there's just huge monsters, tall, huge guys, young guys, old guys, if the sport ever finally evolved to its most efficient method, one of those body types is going to be better than the other. You can't have, the universe does not like all kinds of different shapes and sizes to do a task, right? All trees are round and taller than they are around. There's not any square trees anywhere, So eventually it'll evolve to that. But I'm fortunate enough to live in a time where just about anybody can make it.
When you're mentioning tall, skinny guys and different body shapes, I thought you will also say that there is also a 225-pound guy who's beating up on young upcoming heavyweights.
Yeah, but the laws of the universe don't apply to me. I'm kind of outside that.
Yeah, because in every other sport, like if you're a sprinter, there has to be a video of you training where you have a barbell and 100 pounds, 150 pounds, and you're doing high knees with that. Almost every other sport has some common exercises that you need to do to get to the top. And I was thinking about inviting you and Brendan Allen to discuss that topic but Artem got you guys before me. And I was like, how did Artem steal my idea and got you guys before you? But I think that you, Brendan Allen, and maybe Larry Wheels, because those guys understand how to get strong in powerlifting sense. You understand how to get strong in arm wrestling sense. Maybe you guys could figure out something, how a better training way. And yes, please.
No, it's probably right. It would take some time, but even within powerlifting circles, the basic strategy's fairly consistent. High weight, low reps, but there are differences and variations between different power. The West Side Barbell approach, Brandon Allen's approach, and Sean Latimer's approach to even powerlifting vary significantly enough that they wouldn't be recognizable. Generally speaking, Yeah, there's not a lot of people setting powerlifting records who never do a 1 rep ever, or, or only training sets of 20. So, but in arm wrestling, you've got all table time, all gym time, and you got those are the two strategies that define the spectrum. And then you got the tactics in the middle, where we used to do grippers and we used to do rice bucket stuff, and we used to do sets of 50 or sets of 3, and all that stuff hasn't been sorted out yet.
So you have mentioned in the past that you are not interested in personal training, providing personal training to new arm wrestlers. Is that a full stop right there, or is there something never say never chance?
I won't coach anybody online, because my method of training requires a lot of work and dedication. Also, my method of training is based on your 1 rep max to identify your weaknesses in order to, program the rest of the workout. Well, so in order for me to train somebody like that, I would have to watch your max effort workouts and your speed day workouts to try and figure out where you're dropping the weight, because I can't rely on you, because these people who want online coaching say, I've been following your videos for years, but I'm doing this. And I go, well, you're not following my videos if you do that. But yeah, that would just take such a big personal commitment. I mean, I know how to train me, and I can give you a rough outline on a starting point for you, and I'll do all that for free. I get people question me all the time. That's why all my training's just out there. I say, look, this is how I do it, and this is why I do it. My arm wrestling training routines are posted, and my actual workouts. So if I miss, I don't just film the sexy heavy lifts. If I miss a weight, I show that too. If I'm feeling like crap someday, I post that as well. So, but that's a good starting point. But back to our point where you can have a tall, skinny guy and a short, fat guy both be like in the top 5 of a weight class. Now, if those two guys emailed you for online training and you sent the same program to both of them, you're either raping one of them or both of them, because there's no way you would train those two guys the same, right? They have different needs, they have different capabilities and different aspects. You would need to train them completely different. So yeah, I don't offer it, but I'll answer any of the questions you want. And people can send me videos and stuff and I'll analyze, but not to detract from the online coaches that are out there, go for it. And if you're happy with your online coaching, then by all means, keep paying them.
Like, I have 3 more questions remaining, and first one would be about your YouTube channel. What do you have planned for your YouTube channel in next 2 months, I would say?
I've got ideas for 3 videos that might be my first million view video, but my God, does it take a lot of work. And it is so boring. I didn't realize how boring it was watching the same video over and over again. But I'll keep showing, I'm going to cut down on the non-arm wrestling workouts and just start posting the basics of my training. So I'll probably post every speed day, max day, and volume day. Every once in a while, I'll post an isometric day, but I'll probably pull back from the secondary and tertiary exercises. There's a few more 1-pot canned fish recipes coming up, and I got ideas for 2 more funny Mr. Clean videos. One I'm filming today, so I think those will be enjoyable. Oh, and I have an ASMR video idea that people are going to absolutely love. It's an arm wrestling specific one. You guys will think this is so clever. You're going to go, wow.
But for
that Todd's pretty smart, but it's going to take, that one won't be out for months because I'm so busy training. I can't, this fooling around for my $160 a month YouTube income. It takes a lot of money.
Yeah. And you mentioned that on your YouTube channel that you have only about 3 or maybe 4 months that you are available to arm wrestle. So why are you right now you're planning to arm wrestle almost every month? And that is something that no one has done. At least I have not seen anyone doing that.
I am fully embracing. I am an arm wrestler for hire. I am the professional gunslinger of arm wrestling. I have a price list. If I can drive to your event in less than 8 hours, I will be there for $3,600. That's my opening bid. That's what I plan to do.
I wish Todd, everyone was able to talk so freely about money, but money is still such a taboo in our arm wrestling community. That makes
Well,
me
it's
sad,
hard
man.
because you don't want to put out too, I mean, and it was difficult for me as well because I didn't know what other people were getting, and I didn't know, and I didn't want to be cheated, and I also didn't want to get beat for a lot. But if you don't try something, then nothing happens. So let's try this and see what happens.
And the second question was about arm wrestling rankings. There has been recently a lot of drama about arm wrestling rankings. We're not going to get into that. But what do you feel about arm wrestling rankings? Is that something that matters to you?
There's always drama with the arm wrestling rankings. So when I started, I was tickled to death to see my name listed on them. But the arm wrestling rankings and these predictions before matches are so hard because you can't hardly tell what people are doing and working on. And I mean, I feel for the guys that keep up the rankings. There's a lot of work, just the grief they got to put through to do that. I'm not exactly sure why anybody would volunteer for that unless they're just altruistic and just truly are giving back. But yeah, I mean, and I've seen various people try to bring mathematical algorithms and stuff into the rankings, which is probably the way it should be done. But myself, if I had to do the rankings, first I would negotiate how much you will pay me each month to update them. But I would probably set the rankings up as say the ruler, like the king, then elite, then put amateur, beginner down here, and then some middle ranking. I don't know if I would try to rank. What happens is we can all probably agree within reason who's number one, right? Let's just take the super heavyweights and restrict it to North America. I think we could all probably, there wouldn't be a lot of turmoil if we said Devin's number one. The grief comes in if you say Dave Chafee's above Michael Todd and Jerry Cataret's in between those two, and then Matt Mask is, sorting out number 2, 3, and 4 is very controversial. But if you just took 2, 3, 4, and 5 and said, look, you guys all are right here. You're all elite. You're not king, but you're elite. This next group of 4 or 5, you're all Yowman, right? You can get out of this group and into this one, or you can fall back down, but you are separated. It probably shows up more in the middleweight in America, right? We got RVJ sitting, he's easily on top. Below him is a whole class of people: Jordan Sill, Storm Chelino, Justin Bishop. They're all very good, but they can't beat RVJ, but they can beat everybody below them. There's that big group, so basically the ranking should be a pyramid where you're trying to get into bands instead of trying to sort out, is Storm Chelino above Jordan Sill, but yet Justin Bishop can beat Justin, but he can't beat Storm. So then you've got, well, that's the nature of the game. Those 3 guys are probably so close to each other, they should just, reside in a band instead of trying to reside in numerical order. Then these promoters can set up matches and they can say, well, you two are in the same band, I'll pay you this much money. But if you're punching up, I'll give you like a win bonus if you do it or something. Or I'll give you a bigger appearance fee because you're punching up. And if you're punching down, then you have to win 4-2 to get your money, as opposed to just win. So to me, that would make more sense. But I'm not volunteering to do that. To me, the rankings don't matter because I'm ranked in the super heavyweights and I'm still in the top 10, and I can make 195 in
Top
4
5.
weeks,
Top 5.
So I should be ranked in like every weight class from 195 up. And I think Engen used to do that. And then the rankings really became a mess, because you had middleweights and heavyweights all together. But I mean, it matters if you have a league and if you're trying to set up a progression, to achieve a title, or who goes to the Olympics or who goes to something like that. But other than that, you just, as far as the arm wrestlers go, they just need to know what band they're in. They don't actually need to know if they're number 5 or number 6.
And even when I do live streams, even I get asked a lot about arm wrestling rankings. Who do you think are the top fives or top tens? And my answer is always like Levan number one, Vitali number two, and from three to possibly till eight, it is almost impossible to tell who is number three to eight. Like Kordecha versus Devon, we cannot say for sure whether Devon is going to beat Alex Kordecha or Alex Kordecha is going to beat. We do not know what is going to happen between Trubin and Devon Laird. Maybe Trubin can
Right.
beat Devon. Maybe Devon can beat him. So about from three to eight, and rankings are always going to be impossible to mention correctly unless we have a point-based system or tournaments are there where everyone is competing. Because with so little few super matches going on, it is impossible to rank people.
Right. And even a tournament, if they're not seeding the tournaments, a tournament can screw up your rankings because you can put the top two studs in one bracket and one of them's getting to third or less, and somebody in the easy bracket's going to cruise to third place, because all those monsters are in the other one. But no, I agree. But like you said, we can agree Levan's number one. Let's make him the king or the czar or the viceroy or whatever. And then then you say you got that tight band. Let's put the next 4 or 5 guys at elite, and the other guys are at expert level or, user specific or something, but you could create bands for that. And that would make it so much easier. Because then let's take Derek, for instance, Derek Smith, who just beat Tim Bresnan. You want to climb into the elite super heavyweights? Well, here's the 5 guys you got to beat one of these 5. It doesn't matter if you beat this one or that one, but just to get into that band, you have to beat one of these people. Until you do, you're down here in expert level. You're not elite.
All right. And my
So
final,
he's tied with me, but he's below me. We're in the same band, but he's below me.
you're 5, so we can say the band is from 2 to 5 in North America.
Yes. Well, we got Devin would be number 1. Michael Todd, Dave Chafee, Jerry Caderet are probably the 3 elite people because they're separated from the rest of us. And then the rest of us, I'm on top of Derek.
Right. My final question to you, Todd, and I've recently started asking this question. You're actually the second one. First, I asked Chan Shaw. What pisses you off about arm wrestling or arm wrestlers in general, or arm wrestling fans? You can name anything.
To be the arm wrestlers I meet and deal with in person, I don't have any issue with. I actually like the arguments and stuff we have. What I don't like is, and this isn't arm wrestling, this is more social media. I don't like the fake profile character assassinations. I do not like the arm wrestlers that go through and contact friends on your list, spreading lies and shit about you. I don't like that at all, but those are all character flaws. That exists everywhere. I do not like that Arm Wrestling Uncensored page. And I sometimes reply to posts on it. Then I realize, oh shit, it's that post. So I delete it. I'll say something hilarious. I go, oh, that's right, I'm boycotting that page. So then I got to take my name off it again. But yeah, the fake profile character assassinations and stuff, that bothers me. So all that does is it takes the folks who could help a lot of people, and we say, well, screw it. You know what? I don't really need you guys. So, and I know there's fake profiles of people I've helped. I've coached them with their real profile names. I've answered their questions, but then they create a fake profile and they get on and they flame me out there. So, but I suppose you got to deal with that. That's probably just life in the universe, not so much life in arm wrestling.
Right. So number one,
what did Chance not like?
Chance was saying that we feel entitled about things. Like we should get this, like about matches and rankings. I think he was talking about entitlement in arm wrestling. That pissed him off. What pisses you off about arm wrestling or arm wrestlers in general?
The thing that pisses me off the most about arm wrestlers or arm wrestling in general has to probably be entitlement. Everyone feels entitled to something, like, oh, I'm entitled to a match, or I'm entitled to the win, or blah, blah, blah. Like, drop the entitlement, just go out there, get stronger, and win. The other thing is stop blaming things out of your control for losing. Like, oh, the ref didn't like me, or the pads were too close, or blah, blah, blah. Like, get stronger. If you were stronger, you would have won.
I figured he would hate the people who cry like babies every time he posts his rankings, because I feel for the boy to do that. I mean, he's got a legit complaint. So.
I talked about him about the rankings, and man, it is a difficult thing to do.
Oh, I know, because he's asked me before about the rankings. I said, look, I feel for you. I go, I personally don't care. You do what you want, but boy, that is a terrible job to take on.
So number one, please go to Todd Hutchings YouTube channel. Link will be in the description. Todd is going to arm wrestle Yordan Tsonev from Bulgaria on February 12th. The pay-per-view will be on coresports.world. Engin Terzi's event, $13. Very cheap price for the biggest arm wrestling supercard event that we have ever seen. Again, links will be in the description. And before we end this interview, Todd, anything that you want to say to our viewers?
No, man, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.